It's Friday! Not that that makes much difference to a lot of people at the minute. You just don't have work tomorrow. Simple as that, really. But anyway, Pablo Fornals, let's get straight into this one. I was going to do this earlier in the week, but Gonzo did a video on Sebastian earlier, splitting opinions among the West Ham fan base. And I'm feeling similar with Pablo. I did a review on Saturday after the Liverpool game, and I praised his work ethic off the ball. I thought he was 10 out of 10, if you want. He obviously got his goal. But I just felt that there's a few pivotal moments in that game where it fell to Fornals to provide, and I thought he made the wrong decision. Not just once, not just twice, maybe even 3 times. I felt like his final ball, or even the choice of final ball, wasn't great. In particular, that instance when Bowen was 3-4 yards to his left, ready to get put through one-on-one with Alisson, and he chose to shoot. So I criticised that and I praised his work ethic. And in the comments, some people thought it was being fair, some thought it was being too lenient, and some thought it was being harsh. And I thought, okay, this Pablo's splitting opinions here. And the reason for that, I think, is because, to be honest with you, I think it's Saeed Benrahma. I think fans are just excited to see him play and look at Fornals as the player that's going to miss out, unfortunately. And some people just don't think he suits the system and stuff. And I just want to talk about that a little bit. There's no doubt he's had a decent enough season so far. 2 goals, 2 assists to his name. He's doing all right. I've seen no one complain about his work ethic or anything like that. You can't deny he's hard working. But just wanted to have a little chat about him, really. I've got graphics. I actually recorded this yesterday and anticipated to edit it. Then I remembered I can't edit and gave up. So I'm going to do a botched job here. I've got a favour to ask you at the end of the video as well. So if you wouldn't mind sticking around, that'd be nice. Right, here we go. So I think part of the problem is, we played Liverpool last week. I wouldn't have started him then. Even after his goal, like I said, I thought he had a decent enough game. He just wasn't great at the important times. I wouldn't have started him, but I would start him tomorrow. And it almost frustrates. It frustrates me that we are approaching Liverpool away, going to Anfield, the same way as we are at playing Fulham at home. Because I expect the starting 11 tomorrow to be the 11 that started against Liverpool. I'd be surprised if David Moyes makes any changes. It's a little bit frustrating. I would just like to see a bit more flexibility in our tactics, perhaps, and maybe even in our team selection now and again. I like Nuno, the Wolves manager. I think he's a great manager. You just don't know what he's going to do. You know Jimenez will start up front. You know that. You know what the back 3 will be. You know, you've got a rough idea of what the fullbacks or the wing backs are going to be. You know Semedo's going to be the right one. Then they gave the young lad the chance on the left last week and he done well, so he'll start there again. But you don't know what he's going to do in the middle. Is it going to be Dendoncker, Moutinho, Neves? 2 of those 3. It's probably Moutinho and one or the other. You don't know which one. Is Charlie going to start? You don't know. So who else is going to start? Is it going to be Podence? Is it going to be Neto? You don't know. It's because he just changes it. He picks those players depending on who he's coming up against, how he wants to play. And I would just like to see a similar, more flexible approach from West Ham. And I think other people do too. And I think that's why they look at Fornals as not the problem, but the player is probably going to be the one that changes. When you're wanting to play counter-attacking football, his lack of pace is what stifles it sometimes. We saw at Anfield, there's a few times he got the ball and there was plenty of space in front of him and he ran, but the person behind him caught up with him pretty quick. A slightly pacier player, you would have had a real good break on there. However, when you're then up against someone like, maybe not so much Fulham's a possession-based team, but when you come up against Burnley or West Brom where you can have a lot more of the ball, I think Fornals suits that game perfectly. But he's playing both games, he's playing both different styles in the same position, and it's a very difficult position to play. I've been sort of intrigued to see how he would approach games from a defensive standpoint with this team, because I don't see it as wingers. I don't see Fornals and Bowen as wingers. I see them almost as like number 10s, if you like. They're just in there behind the attacker, but they've also got to get out wide and defend. It's a difficult role. And I'm quite intrigued to watch them off the ball to see what they do. And I feel like, well, actually, this is what I was trying to edit. I've got a couple of pictures, actually. So I'm going to bring up Jared Bowen first. So whatever you want to call Jared Bowen, we're obviously shooting to this goal here. This is awkward, isn't it? So to the left of your screen we're shooting. So in that top left corner of yours, this corner here is obviously the opposition's left back spot. So that's what you'd expect from Jared Bowen. So most of the work's been done down the right hand side. He covers the attacking third, he covers the middle third, he does a little bit in the defensive third. That's what you would expect from Jared Bowen, I think. And it's what I think reflects what he does. When we're out of possession, Jared Bowen has to come back and mark the left back. Let's just say we're up against, Fulham play 4-2-3-1. On Saturday, I would imagine when we don't have the ball, Jared Bowen's going to come back and mark the Fulham left back. Probably Robinson. Bowen will go get him. Sofal will tuck in a little bit, go to more of a right back spot and watch the left midfielder. But then what happens is on the other side of the pitch, Adam Creswell almost comes over a little bit to push Masuaku up a little bit, which moves Pablo Fornals in a little bit. Now here's Pablo Fornals' heat map. It's a lot different to Jared Bowen's. They've got similar jobs to do, similar positions in possession of the ball, but out of possession you can see, I think, that Pablo Fornals almost takes up a central role. Jordan, he was against Man City, he was keeping an eye on Rodri. Against Liverpool, he was keeping an eye on Jordan Henderson. Against Spurs, he was keeping an eye on Højbjerg. He almost tries to make it a 3 with Souček and Declan Rice. But at the same time, he's got to keep an eye on Arthur Masuaku, make sure he's alright and he's not getting outnumbered down that channel. I cannot imagine how difficult a job that is for anyone, really. Anyone that's played football will know what I'm talking about. This is a difficult job to do. He's got to time everything right. He's got to take up the right positions and stuff. If he goes too centrally, there's a massive space over on the other side of the park. Likewise, if he doesn't come central enough, Souček and Rice are getting outnumbered in there. This is a very, very difficult job to do, and I'm not surprised David Moyes is extremely reluctant to drop Pablo Fornals, because you're not asking Ben Rama to come in and start playing counter-attacking football. You're saying to Ben Rama, when we don't have the ball, this is what you must do. You must come central and defend. You must keep an eye on the right back. It's a big responsibility, and I think when you look at Pablo Fornals with his work rate, and he does run, and gives 100%, he'll track anyone. He's not the fastest player, but he will chase them. I think Moyes, he's almost key to the way David Moyes plays this system. If we were to put, I'm not saying Ben Rama is a lazy player, but I think he's a not as enthusiastic player as Fornals. I've seen Ben Rama at Brentford, he presses high up the pitch and stuff, but tracking back perhaps isn't his forte. And I think I have great sympathy if David Moyes is not too keen on taking Fornals out of that team and losing what is defensive discipline, is essentially out when we don't have the ball in our possession. Very difficult job for him. Right, before I get on to anything else, this is a problem with not doing the old, not knowing how to do editing, isn't it? Patreon. We're promoting our Patreon this week. We always do it at the start of the month because it's the best time to sign up. The mild Hammers Chat Addict, the link is in the description below if you wish to support Hammers Chat. It gets you access to a mug of tea with myself and Gonzo. We do it once a month. And then match day morning, so every morning before the game we'll have a little Skype call, have a little chat. It's very laid back. You also get our Patreon podcast. We say it's 2 a month, it's actually weekly now. A chance to be the guest on the Patreon podcast, as well as player ratings after every match. So if you wish to support Hammers Chat, or you want more Hammers Chat videos, more content, links in the description, it's much appreciated. We're not too far away to be able to take an additional day off work, which would allow us to do more Hammers Chat stuff. And at the minute, this is not necessarily Gonzo's work per se, but his job's been impacted by the what's going on in the world, just like many other people have. So if you want to support us and want more videos, check out the link, and much appreciated. But as for that, the Pablo Fornals is, I've seen he's been nominated actually for Player of the month in October, so he's clearly doing something right. But I just felt that after the Liverpool game in particular, a lot of people were questioning it. I think he will start against Fulham, and I think it's important. What I would like to see some point in the future, I said in the preview last night, I would not mind seeing Pablo Fornals played next to Declan Rice. Because I think, despite the fact that I criticised him last week for his lack of passing or his poor passing, I do think his passing is his best trait, if you like. I think that pass he did against Wolves for Bowen, that quick free kick, genius. I don't know if there's anyone else on our team that would have been able to see that and pull that off and stuff. And I think it's fantastic. I wouldn't mind seeing him play centre midfield. I think if Souček or Rice got injured, I would like to see Fornals go in there and play in there, because we know he'll give 100%. He's not the biggest physical player, but either is Moutinho over at Wolves. Doesn't stop him from controlling the game of football. I would like to see us control perhaps more in the middle of the park. I think Souček's physically great, puts himself about, but I think Fornals is far better than him on the ball. The other thing I will say about Pablo Fornals, though, I used to say this about Harvey Barnes. I remember when Harvey Barnes came back to Leicester after being on loan at West Brom, and I remember watching a few Leicester games, and he was missing a lot of chances, was Harvey. And the week before they played us, I remember putting money on Harvey Barnes to score, and he didn't score. And then he played us, so I put money on Harvey Barnes to score, and he did. Unfortunately, he got his first goal for Leicester because he kept getting in the positions, and he's still doing it this season. He's still getting a lot of shots, Harvey Barnes. He's not scoring loads of goals, but I think getting in the positions the hardest thing to do, to be honest with you, as a footballer. You can have all the ability in the world as a footballer, but if you cannot read the game properly, if you struggle to get in the right positions at the right time, you're not going to score many goals, are you? But on the flip side, if you did the polar opposite, which is you're fantastic at reading the game, but your ability is just not quite great, you'll still score through a lot of averages almost. And Fornals misses a lot of big chances. We've seen it time and time again. The ball comes, I say time and time again, maybe one a game. He'll miss one big chance a game, which is sort of worrying, but that 2 goals he's got so far will possibly be 10 by then. I would not be surprised if Pablo Fornals hits 8 Premier League goals this season. I would not be surprised, because he gets into the goal scoring positions. He reads the game really well. I've got no doubt about that. I think he's a fantastic player. I remember watching him when we signed him, but he was playing for Spain, watching him and Cabellos running the tournament, and Fabian Rui as well for Spain. The 3 of them were just head and shoulders above the rest of them. And you thought, wow, there's a football I'm really looking forward to seeing at West Ham. I think he's not quite hit the level I was perhaps hoping after watching that tournament, but he's a fantastic footballer. He really is a good player, but getting in that position is the hardest thing. And I do worry that if you take him out and you put someone else in, they've got to do what Pablo Fornals does. I'm not sure we've got anyone else. It's funny actually, we speak about Antonio, how he's irreplaceable in our team. We don't have anyone like Mikel Antonio. I think that's correct. But I also don't think we've got anyone like Pablo Fornals. And I think if you took him out, you would see what you're missing. You wouldn't necessarily have the same work rate and work ethic as whoever else goes in that place in him. And it's big shoes to fill. But I don't think it's an opportunity anyone in our team's getting anytime soon. I do think there's games where we should perhaps either not play him or drop him back into centre midfield and have more pace going forward. I think against Fulham, I wouldn't mind seeing an extra attacking player on the pitch. Get us West Ham on the front foot. I'm not sure Moyes is going to do that though. I think we'll see him sticking with the same system and Pablo Fornals playing a big part. Anyway, I've got a little favour. If you want, I did my first ever video on my own channel last week. It was just about card bets really. I'm ready to record one after this for the weekend's games. But even if you don't like betting, you don't want card bets, that's alright. Next week, because of the international break, I'm going to try and do 2 or 3 generic Premier League videos. So it's not going to be about West Ham, but it's going to be about the Premier League only. I got nearly 200 subscribers. Pretty happy with that, to be honest with you. I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm really happy with that. So if you want to subscribe to my own channel, I'm going to put the link in the description. It'd be massively appreciated. I don't know what videos I'm doing next week, but it'd be nice to see you over there if I decide to do one. Anyway, there we go. That's what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about Pablo a little bit tonight. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new out here. Myself and Gonzo will see you tomorrow before the Fulham game.